My research explored pedagogies for teaching Islam to children and youth, from which I discerned a three-part typology that engages with unique learner dimensions, the need for Canadian cultural relevance, and the importance of esoteric interactions. My research highlights new directions in Islamic educational research and teacher education.
I studied the experiences of gay and lesbian radiation therapists coming out at work. Using an autoethnographic narrative inquiry approach, I found that sexual orientation disclosure is dependent on context and can affect relationships with patients and co-workers in both positive and negative ways.
In this study, I investigated University of Botswana's first-year students' instruction and use of digital technologies. My findings indicated that participants' uneven digital literacy skills, as well as the various resource challenges, suggest a need for more effective integration of technologies in order to foster students' academic and professional success.
My name is Dr. Susan Fawcett. I developed a family-centered positive behavior support approach for families of young children with Down syndrome and challenging behavior, the first of its kind at the secondary tier. The program was effective in improving children's behavior, decreasing maternal stress levels, and enriching family quality of life.
Educators make numerous judgments that affect vulnerable people every day, a responsibility for which there is little institutional training or support. I explore Hannah Arendt's ideas about thinking, willing, and judging, and how these resources inform educational practice, helping educators to make ethical political judgments.
Dr. Cattell studied the role that executive functions, which are a set of cognitive processes, play in important developmental outcomes. She found that 4th and 5th grade students who had better executive functions earned higher academic grades in high school. Given its malleability, this research highlights the importance of finding ways to support executive functions at an early age.
My name is Rosa Lemon, and I'm graduating with a PhD in counseling psychology. I conducted a narrative examination of school-based trauma-informed practices. This was one of the first Canadian studies to examine trauma-informed practices from the perspective of school-based professionals. This research supports the continued development of trauma-informed practices in the education system.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hilary McBride. My research focused on women's experience of well-being during the menopausal transition, shifting the discourse from a biomedical and pathology-focused perspective to one of developmental growth and thriving.
I attend to a Welsh cultural approach to contemplative connection with the living world. As a response to climate change, my writing explores ways of knowing with trees, culture, words, and ancestors. I offer a creative, devotional, and regenerative approach to environmental and contemplative education.
Hi, this is Faith Hitaf Kady Rachid. For my doctoral research, I critically examined constructions of peoples of Arab descent in educational text and talk in British Columbia. My analysis revealed a discourse of othering, a discourse of barriers to teaching about peoples of Arab descent, and the importance of supporting teachers' efforts to teach in culturally relevant ways.
Hello, my name is Dr. Vanessa Radzimski, and in my dissertation I found that contrary to expectations, university mathematics knowledge plays a limited role in future high school math teachers' understanding of the secondary curriculum. I argue that mathematicians and teacher educators should work together to help future teachers understand how content expertise can impact pedagogical practice.
Dr. Wakefield studied homeschool and community beliefs about the strengths and resources of culturally linguistically diverse children and families. Stakeholders viewed cultural and linguistic diversity as both a challenge and an opportunity. This research informs both practice and policy to support young children's transition to school.
I'm Dr. Wawtykow. My research investigated Aboriginal students' sources of and access to self-worth. I modified an analysis method to fit with Indigenous oral storytelling traditions. My findings highlight Indigenous ways of healing and fostering self-worth, and contribute to culturally sensitive delivery of clinical service and conducting research. I'd like to thank the Musqueam First Nation for allowing me to complete my PhD on their land. I'd also now like to thank my family, whom without their support, I would have not been able to complete this journey. Thank you.
I'm Devra, and for my PhD, I studied the politics of the development of a sport-focused gated community in India. I found that colonial legacies heavily influenced the design of this space, that violent forms of dispossession made land available for this development, and that flexible interpretations of law privileged some individuals and land uses over others.